reporters and columnists. Go to theinquirer.com/sports. Jeff, good morning.
Hey, guys. Good morning.
So we're coming off of a win over the Packers. Defense dominant for the Eagles. Offense not so much. What was going on with the game plan? It looks like we're finding out more that it was more so the game plan on Sunday for the Eagles, not just the performance by the quarterback, Jalen Hurts, that a lot of people quickly went to on Sunday.
What do you mean we're finding out more about the game plan?
Well, as we're seeing more and more film come out, there were a lot of issues with the receivers not getting open, which is something that Kellen Moore is known for.
Yeah, I don't know about that. There's NFL open, and then there's high school. The guys were open. So was it the greatest game plan, or was it the greatest play calling? Execution by Kellen Moore? No, but those, I think that's gone way too far to one extreme. And then just like the other extreme, that Jalen was terrible, is ridiculous too. I think it's probably a combination of both. But I know you're talking about he's got a large platform, and then when you start saying this is what happens in terms of film and scheme and that kind of things. I think it was a little bit over the top. Like if you watch it, there were definitely throws that could have been made, and then there's times when they just have to be thrown. The ball needs to be thrown away. You just can't be taking sacks. Now that happens. Right. I get it. Sometimes taking a sack is better than turning the ball over. And I'm not saying that Jalen at times didn't have to make those decisions, but. I think, again, the extremities that people go to in this conversation sometimes is ridiculous. It's a combination of both, of why the offense wasn't productive, and several other factors as well.
Jeff, what'd you see out of A.J. Brown in that game? Did you see a guy who was getting open, or did you see a guy who didn't look himself?
Well, he was open on that
himself.
Big push.
Right.
Yeah, he was open on. I mean, that's a pass that should have been hit, right?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a knee issue, so I assume that's affecting him. He said after the game he's feeling a little better, but he didn't practice pretty much all last week. Maybe it's because they had the week off, and people felt like, and he played the week before that. He's fine. But I assume that's what's affecting him. Yeah, there were times that the ball came in front of him. I mean, again, AJ's open when he isn't open, right? I mean, that's where a lot of times, his catches come. Could they have done a better job getting him the ball in certain circumstances? Probably. I think it was a combination of factors. On the quarterback, it was on the play call. At times, maybe he didn't run the best route, or maybe the offensive line wasn't blocking for them. And then I think you got to give credit to the Packers. I think they did a really good job. Defensively, they really mixed things up. They kind of threw some loops at the Eagles, but they weren't really expecting. And they gave them a certain look that they'd shown on film before, and then it wasn't that when the Eagles got there at the line. So I think that all that factors into why the offense wasn't as productive as they'd like to be.
What's next for the Eagles defense without Nakobe Dean? Oren Burks obviously filling in for him, but now you look at the depth chart, you're light at linebacker, period. So what did they try to do to be creative in case something else were to happen?
Yeah, I don't think it's that dire because, you have, when Nakobe didn't play last time, you had two guys that were, they split. Oren started, but they got Jeremiah Trotter in there a few times. So, I mean, you have two options, right? It's better than one or none. And Oren, he didn't really play great in the Packers game. Give him a full week of preparation. The week before, 2 games before, when he had to fill in for Nakobe, I thought he played better. And this is a guy that's been here before. I mean, he's played in 5 straight postseasons before, so and has started in the NFL. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and play the way Nakobe was playing, or play like Dick Butkus, but they feel confident with him versus maybe some of the other positions that they don't have guys that could just step in and have done it before. And Jeremiah Trotter, again, is I thought he played pretty well in that last game against the Giants when they played a lot of the reserves. And so there's a chance you could see him, them splitting some time there as well.
If you're the Rams, and you've watched this Eagles team and watched it all year long at a high level, so I'm going to say to you, how do you think they're going to try to come out early and attack the Eagles on Sunday?
Yeah, obviously I got to look into them some more. This is a team that we saw a couple months ago. The Eagles handled them pretty well. They, the Rams were able to move the ball on them in that game in the first two drives. There's a fumble in the red zone, from what I recall, on the first drive. And then they scored a touchdown, and then it was like punt, 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 and then the Eagles' offense started to get it going. This is a different offense than they saw then. Not in terms of like players. I mean, I think Kupp played in that game, Nakua played in that game, Stafford. But I think just in terms of like confident, because they were just getting those receivers back. So like it took some time for them to get Stafford to get back and groove with those guys. And then I think they went on a run of winning like 5 in a row, perhaps, before that season finale when they really didn't play their starters. And we saw this other, and then obviously what they did to the Vikings last night. I think the Eagles have an advantage up front on both sides of the ball, even though the Rams do have a good defensive line. But I mean, the Eagles ran like 200 and something balls, 250. Saquon had like a career day, and they really kind of wore them down as that game went on. But I think if you're looking at the Rams, the one thing that concerns you is that Matthew Stafford and Sean McVay have been here before. They've done it. They've won a Super Bowl. They've been to two. McVay's been to 2 Super Bowls. So they know what it takes to get it done in the postseason.
Do you still believe that the Eagles are the better team overall heading into this matchup?
Oh, I do. Just watching the game last night, even though they beat the Vikings pretty handily. Yeah, I think the Eagles have a lot of up and down the dial. They have the advantage. The Rams certainly have some great players, and they have, Matthew Stafford. Is still playing at a high level, could still make throws that a lot of quarterbacks in this league can't make. There was a throw last night that I saw, and I think even Aikman said it on the telecast. There's like maybe a handful of guys in the league that can make that throw, and I think he's right. So you got to be concerned about that. But he's not a mobile guy. He's never been a mobile guy. If you can get him off his spot, not making those quick throws, they can be beat. So, look, I'm not saying this is going to be an easy game, but of the 3 teams that had a possibility of playing in the next round, I thought the Rams were the teams that the Eagles would want to play the most. So, I probably still stand by that.
All right, Jeff, you're the man, brother.
Thanks, Jeff.
We appreciate the time as always. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll talk to you next week, hopefully after another Eagles victory.
All right, guys. Talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
There he is, Jeff McLane on the Comcast Business Hotline. Very adamant to not
he doesn't
put
agree
blame
with Dan
on
Orlovsky.
Kellen Moore. Yeah. I thought the game plan sucked.
I thought it sucked too.
I didn't like it yesterday before Dan Orlovsky talked about it. I don't like it even more after Dan Orlovsky talked about it. But Jeff completely, adamantly disagreed. I find that interesting. So we'll talk about that more coming up next. He said something that I have said, that Connor has said about Stafford and McVay. I do want to expand on that a little bit next. We also have our second opinion segment, something that we may have missed talking about the game yesterday. We'll break it down further coming up next. It is Kincade and Salciunas on this Tuesday morning.
Thank you so much for checking out our content on the 97.5 The Fanatic YouTube channel. Hope you enjoyed the video. And remember, you can always be checking the playlist. There may be something you missed from one of our shows during the day that you want to go back and check out. So every time you like a video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and you'll have that great content coming to you every single day. You're greatly appreciated.